What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. And today I'll be going through my round 20 AFL tips and predictions, as well as going through my round 19 predictions and big calls from the week before. So yeah, let's get into last week, see how well I did tipping wise. Wasn't the greatest. In the first game between Port and Collingwood, I tipped the Power to get up, got that one correct. But the second game, I tipped Carlton to beat North Melbourne, got that incorrect. Tipped Brisbane to beat Gold Coast, correct. Got the West Coast to beat St Kilda, tip correct. Then from there, I did pretty poor. I tipped Melbourne to beat Bulldogs, got that incorrect. Tipped Hawthorn to beat Adelaide, got that incorrect. Tipped Sydney to beat Freo. Tipped Richmond to beat Geelong in an upset, and I got that one incorrect. And then I tipped Essendon to beat GWS, got that incorrect. So one of my poorer rounds of tipping, that's for sure. I only got 4 out of 9, which not great at all. Yeah, let's go to the big call, see if I did any better, see if I finally get to avoid a punishment for once in my life. Port v Collingwood, I predicted George Yardy to kick 4 or more goals. Got that one incorrect. Carlton v North, I predicted to be 10 or more goals scored in any quarter, and in the last quarter, there were 12 goals, so got that one correct. Brisbane v Gold Coast, I predicted the Lions to score 15 or more behinds, and I got that one correct. West Coast v St Kilda, I predicted St Kilda to choke in any way possible, but we were never in front, so I can't count that. Melbourne v Bulldogs, I predicted Tom McDonald to score the first goal, got that one incorrect. Adelaide v Hawthorn, I predicted Laird and Mitchell to combine for 70 or more touches, and I got it pretty close. I think I was off by like 4 or 5. And then the Sydney Freo game, I also got that one incorrect. In Geelong v Richmond, I predicted Richmond to come back from halftime and win. Definitely that was incorrect. And Essendon v GWS, I need one more so I can avoid the big call. I predicted that the margin will not exceed 18 points at any stage of the game, and I actually got it correct. I got it correct for once, and it avoids me having to do the punishment because I got 3 out of 9 big calls correct. So get to skip this week's punishment. That's the second time in 20 rounds of footy. So massive congrats to me. Hallelujah. All around. Get up and about. So yeah, that was it for the round 19. Tipping wise, not great, but it made up for the big calls, and I'll probably take it. Let's get straight to round 20, and yeah, let's go through the tips. So obviously, as of filming this, I'm filming this on a Monday night, so it's potentially subject to change. But for now, we'll go through the current fixture. I don't think it's going to change too much. You wouldn't think so. Friday night footy, we've got St Kilda taking on Carlton at Marvel Stadium. An interesting decision to have this one as a Friday night game. Last week, the Blues just, were pretty pathetic after half-time. I mean, give it credit to North. They were really impressive. Even in the first half. I mean, they kept up to the Blues. I think it was only 2 points. Carlton, I still thought, you can rely on the Blues to get it done at the end. It wasn't a pretty start for them, but they just fell away in that second half, and the Roos were just total dominant. Larkey with 7 goals. He was very impressive. Yeah, the Blues, not many bright signs at the moment. I thought they would have got the job done with their easy run home. Now finals is 0 chance at happening at the moment. And St Kilda, well, I'm not too annoyed about our loss last week, considering that it was probably going to be a loss. It was a tough game. We only lost to the Eagles by 8, and we did fight back after half time. It was a pretty poor first half. The second quarter really killed us. Max King, massive upside to Max King. He kicked 6 goals, 8 contested marks, had an absolutely outstanding game. I think we should win this game. Both sides have some big ins. Obviously, Carlton having Carey Mackay and Charlie Curnow, and Curnow hasn't played footy in a long time, and he looked good in the VFL, so a little bit scary for the Saints, but I'm pretty sure we've definitely got Marshall coming back in, massive in, Higgins, McKenzie, and I think Hanbury potentially might be playing. So even though, Carlton have some good ins, so do the Saints. And as a Saints fan, I don't see us dropping this. If we want to make finals, we've got to win our next 4 games. So yeah, this will be an unexcusable game if we do drop this. We've got to win it, and I predict us to win the game by 25 points with my big call. Dan Butler kicks 4 or more goals. He did it against the Blues last year, and I feel like he's going to find his form back for once in this year. He had a decent game against the Eagles last week. We move on to the Saturday games. This is one of the earliest games I've seen in a while. We've got a 12:20 game between Western Bulldogs and Adelaide at Mars Stadium. I think this was originally scheduled to be at Mars in the first place, so it'll play, but I don't think with any crowds. The Dogs were very impressive last week against the D's. They just didn't allow the D's to get really any run in it for the game. I think the D's, only a couple of times they would manage to kick consecutive goals, but the Dogs were just too good. And yeah, they finally managed to beat the D's, and it was, I think, the first side, or first top 8 side, I think, even to beat the D's this season, which is quite remarkable. The Crows as well were quite impressive in the game against the Hawks. It was quite an entertaining game. I saw bits of it, very high scoring to start off with, but the Crows, managed to get it done. Didn't catch too much of it, but it was quite impressive because the Hawks, found a little bit of form against their draw against the D's, but I think 99% will probably be going towards the Dogs. If the Dogs want to solidify a top 2 spot, they've got to keep on winning these games. And against the Crows, you'd expect them to get it done. So we'll go the Dogs to win this game by 44 points, with my big call being that 30 or more goals will be combined throughout the game. And the next game, a 1:15 p.m. clash at Blundstone Arena between North Melbourne and Geelong. Another game that could be quite interesting. I don't think too many people will be tuning into this one, but it could be interesting. The Roos are in some really, really good form. They just keep on improving as the season progresses, which is big ups to them. They're playing some really good footy. Obviously beating the Blues by 39 points. Just impressive stuff. Larky kicked the 7. Simpkin played a good game. Taryn Thomas, unfortunately, I think he's going to be out for next week's game, which could be a bit of a blow for the Roos. And the Cats. They got the job done. It was a pretty crap game for the first quarter and a bit, but that second quarter, or the end of the second quarter, the Cats were probably at their very best. Kicked 6 goals, I think, in that last patch of the second, and that's really where they won the game. Cats probably look like the best team in the comp at the moment. There's not a lot of teams stopping them, not much stopping them. I know this is at Blundstone. It might be a tough ask against the Roos, who are playing really good footy, but I mean, the Cats are the best side in it at the moment. I don't think they'll be dropping this game. I'll go the Cats to win it by 32 points. And my big call will be that there are 20 or less goals combined throughout the game. Now, the next game, we've got Gold Coast taking on Melbourne at, it doesn't actually have the place of the stadium. I'm almost 100% certain this has to be at Metricon. Gold Coast home game. I don't know why it wouldn't be at Metricon. The D's, their form hasn't been great as of late. They went down to the Dogs, but they weren't bad. The Dogs are just seriously good against the D's, but I don't think the D's were too bad. They look good. They just couldn't really get it done. The Dogs just had all the answers. And Gold Coast, well, a lot of people were thinking this is going to be a massive upset at halftime, but they were absolutely horrendous after halftime. I think they conceded like 13 of the last 14 goals. It was a bit like the other Q Clash game, but just in the one half. This was a one-sided affair after half-time. The Suns were, pathetic. They looked good early, but dropped off significantly. I know this is the sort of game the D's could lose, but their form as of late, the Demons, hasn't been too impressive. They really got to win this game to, if anything, lock in a top 4 spot, because a top 4 spot right now isn't 100% confirmed. So I'll go Melbourne to win this game by 14 points. My big call being that Gold Coast have a 70% or more goal-kicking accuracy. Next game we have is between Collingwood and West Coast at the MCG. This could be an interesting one, that's for sure. Obviously, last week the Pies went down against the Power. They showed signs for some glimpses of the game, but obviously the Power were too strong and really never looked like losing it. Every time the Pies would score a goal, the Power would respond straight away. And West Coast had a pretty good win against the Saints. That second quarter, that's where they broke the game away, kicked 6 goals to 2. But then, the Saints obviously came back in the last half and they were pretty impressive. I reckon the Eagles, though, they probably played their best footy that they've played for a month, I'd have to say, because, the Saints were really good, but the Eagles were just a bit better. You'd think that Eagles will get the job done, but obviously, for the sake of everyone else's finals chances, we really do want the Pies to win this, because otherwise the Eagles will most likely make the 8 if they win this. I reckon an upset could happen here. I reckon Collingwood could challenge. They're bound to probably win another game for the remainder of the season. If that happens, who knows? But I'm going to go the Pies in this one. I'm going to go for a bit of an upset. Collingwood to win the game by 8 points, with my big call being Jamie Elliott kicks 4 or more goals in the game. And the last game of the Saturday games, we've got Essendon taking on Sydney at the Gabba. Essendon, they blew a massive chance at solidifying a top 8 spot by losing last week against the Giants. It just opens the spot for the top 8 even more. I don't know how teams with a really good position of making the 8 just keep messing things up, and then the Bombers were the latest of the teams to do that. The Giants got up by 13, keeping their final spots alive. And really now, I think that Bombers need to win every game for them to make the 8. And I've got a fairly tough draw with the Swans and the Dogs to come. I know their percentage is favourable, but still, very disappointing to drop the game against the Giants. The Swans, on the other hand, after quarter time, were absolutely phenomenal. Their form has been literally red hot. It's probably been just as good as the Cats, if not better, beating the Dockers by 40 points. However, the two sides have always played in close games, and I feel like this will most likely be a similar one. I'll tip the Swans to win the game by 5 points, with my big call being that the Swans come back from 20 or more points at any time to win the game. Now we move on to the last 3 games, and these are the Sunday games. The first one being the Hawks taking on the Lions at UTAS Stadium. Now I think it was once going to be the MCG, which probably helps, which suits the Lions, considering that they're a really poor MCG side. The Hawks weren't too bad against the Crows last week, but they just couldn't get it done. Dropped the game by 19. Don't have a lot to say about this one because I didn't really watch it. But on the other hand, the Lions had a very impressive win against the Suns. At halftime, they looked shell-shocked. The Suns were in a commanding position. I think it was a 30-point lead at one stage in that game, but they ended up kicking 13 second-half goals, and it ended up being a 76-point turnaround. The Lions smashed the Suns by 49. It was a complete smashing after halftime, which, it's good for the Lions. Gives them a bit of form. I know it was against the Suns, but the Suns have been, they have been a pretty decent side in the last month, playing some good footy. And even in that first half, it goes to show that the Suns aren't awful. But the Lions got a good win. I don't think too many people here will be backing the Hawks in this one. The Hawks aren't in some great form. Obviously, they're most likely going to be a bottom 2 side. Could even finish last with the way that the North have been going as of late. But yeah, I'll be tipping the Lions in this one. The Hawks tend to play UTAS quite well. So I'll go the Lions in this one by 20 points. With my big call, Joe Danaher kicks 5 or more goals. He'll have a good day out. And we move on to the next game, which is still yet to be confirmed. We've got GWS taking on Port Adelaide. And after last week's result, this is a massive game in the circumstances of both teams' season. The Power, they want to try and solidify a top 4 spot. They're fighting against the Lions and the Giants. Well, after that win against the Bombers last week, puts them well and truly in the mix for the top 8. Yeah, the Giants, didn't watch the game, but, 13-point win against the Bombers. Yeah, very, very impressive stuff. And the Power, well, they just got the job done. They just always seem to win against those bottom 10 sides. Obviously beating the Pies last week by 28. They were challenged a few times, but they got the job done. They just got it done for Travis Boak and his 300th game. It could be an upset here. The Power, obviously, I don't think they've dropped a single game against a bottom 10 side, but the Giants right now are in the 8. So, does that give the Giants an advantage here? I think this is going to be one of the toughest games to predict of the round, but I still feel like the Power should win this, and if they win it, their hunt for the top 4 spot is still on target. I'll go the Power in this one by 19 points with my big call. Ollie Wines has 37 or more touches. And the last game of the round, which could be the biggest game of the round, in the context of the top 8, we've got Fremantle taking on Richmond at Optus Stadium. In the last couple of weeks, the Dockers have been nothing short of poor. Losing to the Cats by 70 at home, and then backing it up with a poor performance against the Swans by 40 points. They showed nothing after quarter time, the Dockers. And it doesn't give them a lot of hope to make the top 8 right now. I think they've got to win their next 4, and I've got a fairly difficult run home. So it's got to start against the Tigers here, who themselves aren't in some great form either. Obviously the Tigers, they lost to the Cats by, I think it was 38 points. The Cats are just all over them in the majority of that game. That second quarter, the Cats broke the game away. Radaglia kicked 4, Hawkins kicked 4. Obviously, the Tigers are really missing Martin and a few other key plays, including Nankervis in the ruck. This could definitely be a result that goes either way. I feel like the Tigers being $1.54 favourites might be a little bit too much, considering this is at Optus and the Tigers just aren't in great form at all. I will go the upset here. I really do want the Dockers to win for the Saints finals chances, and I think they can pull this off. So we'll go the Dockers to win this game by 12 points. And my big call will be that David Mundy kicks 2 or more goals in any quarter. Just something a bit different. But that was it for the tips for round 20. Hopefully we can do a little bit better than last week, where we got 4 out of 9 and pretty much has ended any chance of maybe coming back in my tipping comp. If you want to join it, you can search up Cardman22's tipping comp. Now, I've slipped on 114th in my tipping comp. Now I'm doing slightly better in True Footy's tipping comp with 110th. So I'm not doing great, but oh well, you know, what can you do? I was never going to win it to begin with. If you guys enjoyed, obviously leave a like and drop a punishment you would like to see me do if I get less than 3 big calls correct, which funnily enough actually happened in this tipping, so I didn't have to do a punishment. But yeah, comment down a punishment. One of the most likes I'll end up doing that's most appropriate. And if you guys do enjoy these videos, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more tipping videos and other videos throughout the week. And also, before we go, I'm considering maybe doing a 24-hour stream on the Wednesday night to the Thursday. So comment down below, hashtag 24-hour stream if you want to see it happen. And maybe, just like Bitter and Ryder, I might actually do one. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon in my next video.